Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Interview with a Vampire, Episode 5, A Vile Hunger for Your Hammering Heart. This series has really been escalating, and this issue is definitely takes probably the biggest leap that I've seen. At least it really feels that way. So in this quick synopsis, Claudia's activities and curiosities present continued challenges for Louis and Lestat. Her actions light an explosive fuse that erupts at episode's end. Boy, that is putting all that stuff very mildly. Really quick, let me refresh you of the cast. Jacob Anderson plays Louis. Eric Bogosian plays Daniel Malloy, the reporter. Sam Reed plays Lestat. And Bailey Bays as Claudia. So, yeah, I think Claudia has been first of all, definitely very welcome addition to the show. But it seems like a unwelcome or maybe a difficulty that Louis and Lestat were not really planning for. This all feels very impulsive from both of them, and I think that this episode we really finally see a lot of those consequences. I really like once again the I noted this last review, but the continued use of the diaries. But now we know there comes a fold, an additional layer to that this episode, right? Because Malloy begins to question, okay, if for whatever reason these have pages missing or something's been omitted, how do we know that all this stuff is really? How do we know that this time around Louis is being more forward? Um, but on the flip side, Louis wants to make sure that Claudia and her tale is not just used by the society, and it's seen on the correct light, at least the way Louis remembers it. It's very complicated because obviously once something hits the public purview, the author loses all control of it. Really, the masses will do with it what they'll do with it, regardless of the author's intent, which is a really interesting exploration, a little meta on the part of revisiting Anne Rice's writings. So I'd really like that fold, and also the confrontation, everything that comes between from all the difficulties. Claudia's a very interesting character. I think Claudia brings a lot of really interesting ideas to the show as someone who stops aging at a certain point, but not as an adult. Here is probably the reason why they don't make many vampires from young people, um, which is still completely unexplored in this show. The the act of making more new vampires. We really haven't gotten any guidelines or anything. That part of the world of this show still left unexplored, which I'm sure we'll definitely get into further on. So that'll be really interesting. We do meet another vampire on this episode, which, once again, anytime we introduce new vampires, another complication rises. I'll leave it vague at that. But yeah, this episode was extremely, extremely entertaining. Louis and Lestat's relationship is just so complicated, but we see that there are limits to what they'll take, as far as specifically on this side. I think Lestat has been uh, I'm not taking sides on either one. I think he feels at least that he has been very flexible with Louis, but we see that there is a limit to how flexible he will be in accepting some of those things. So yeah, and Claudia and Louis have very much deeper relationship, illustrated highly by the fact that Claudia calls Louis dad, whereas Lestat calls him uncle. Like all that stuff. It's very interesting, very layered, and I'm really really enjoying it. Uh, there's a sequence in this episode that just looks amazing, like something we hadn't seen. So I really appreciate how much effort the showrunners are putting into making things look interesting and cool. I still love the fact that anytime we flash back to the present in Dubai, although it really just is just one set, they find interesting ways to kind of present current day Louis. And then Malloy brings up an interesting question, about like what happens once this interview is out there in the world, which hopefully will the show will touch on in the future. But overall, really interesting stuff. Can't wait to see some more of this Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. I know that there's another show premiering at the beginning of next year, probably to pick up the void from this one once the season is over. So I'm very excited for that. And yeah, we'll keep on trucking. I'm really enjoying watching and making these reviews for Interview with a Vampire. So let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.